all right, let's dive deep into one of the most controversial and hidden secrets of the Bible. A story that has been whispered through the ages but rarely brought to light the true nature of the serpent's seduction in the Garden of Eden. Imagine this. The Garden of Eden, a place of unimaginable beauty and tranquility. Adam and Eve live in perfect harmony with nature, their every need provided by the Creator. Yet amidst this paradise lurks a figure shrouded in mystery and danger. The serpent. Now, we're not talking about a mere snake slithering around. No, this serpent is a manifestation of Lucifer himself, the fallen angel, the master of deceit. The traditional narrative tells us that the serpent tempted Eve to eat the forbidden fruit, leading to the fall of mankind. But what if there was more to this story? What if the serpent's temptation was far more insidious, far more personal? Hebrew Bible scholars and apocryphal texts hint at a deeper, more intimate interaction. The serpent, with his beguiling charm and otherworldly knowledge, approaches Eve not just with a piece of fruit, but with a proposition. He promises her wisdom, power, and a deeper understanding of the divine. His words are like honey, sweet and irresistible. Eve, innocent and curious, is drawn to his ALU. This isn't just about a piece of fruit. This is about a forbidden union. A crossing of boundaries that should never have been crossed. The serpent in his true form as Lucifer seduces Eve, and their union brings forth a new kind of knowledge. A knowledge that is both enlightening and damning. This act of seduction, this forbidden encounter, is the real original sin, a sin that brings forth a lineage tainted by its very inception. Apocryphal texts and Kabbalistic literature delve into this forbidden union, suggesting that Cain, the firstborn of Eve, is not the son of Adam, but the offspring of Lucifer himself. This revelation shakes the very foundation of our understanding of good and evil. Cain, born from this unholy union, carries within him the mark of his father, a mark that will define his destiny and the destinies of his descendants. So here's the deal. The traditional narrative tells us that Cain and Abel were the sons of Adam and Eve, right? But what if I told you that this isn't the whole truth? What if Cain's true father wasn't Adam at all, but Lucifer? All right, before you hit that comment section, let's break this down. We already know from the previous discussion that the serpent, a manifestation of Lucifer, had a forbidden encounter with Eve in the Garden of Eden. This union, shrouded in secrecy and taboo, resulted in the birth of Cain. This isn't just wild speculation. There's compelling evidence in ancient texts and traditions that support this claim. Let's start with the apocryphal texts, those books that didn't make it into the canonical Bible but still hold immense value and insight. In some of these texts, there are hints and outright statements suggesting that Cain was the offspring of a union between Eve and a being of great power and darkness. This being, as we now understand, is Lucifer. But why does this matter? Why is it so crucial to understand Cain's true parentage? Because it fundamentally changes the story of humanity. If Cain is indeed the son of Lucifer, then his actions, his curse, and his descendant carry an entirely different weight. Cain's murder of Abel isn't just a crime of passion, it's the manifestation of a darker, more profound struggle between good and evil. Kabbalistic literature adds even more depth to this theory. According to these mystical texts, the union between Eve and Lucifer was part of a cosmic plan, a struggle between light and darkness that plays out on the human stage. Cain born from this union is marked not just with a curse but with the legacy of his father. This mark signifies his role in the ongoing battle between divine order and chaotic rebellion. Imagine the implications of this revelation, Cain. The first murderer isn't just a wayward son but the progeny of Lucifer himself. This makes his actions almost inevitable. A result of the dark legacy he carries, his descendants too are marked by this origin. Their fates intertwined with the ancient struggle that began in the Garden of Eden. Now let's talk about the Gnostic texts. These writings often present alternative views on biblical stories, and they have a lot to say about Cain and Gnostic tradition. Cain is seen as a figure of both darkness and misunderstood potential. His lineage is not just cursed, but also carries the potential for great knowledge and power, attributes inherited from his father Lucifer, all right? Let's get into the heart of one of the most intriguing and controversial ideas in the story of Cain and Abel. The concept of dual paternity, where Eve bore twins with different fathers. This isn't your run-of-the-mill biblical interpretation. This is a theory that takes us deep into the mysteries and hidden truths of ancient texts. Imagine the Garden of Eden, a place of absolute purity and innocence, suddenly becoming the setting for an unprecedented act of dual parenthood. Eve, in a moment that defies conventional understanding, conceives twins Cain and Abel from two different fathers. This isn't just about eating a forbidden fruit. This is about a forbidden union that brings forth two children with vastly different destinies. On one side, we have Abel, the son of Adam, representing the traditional lineage of humanity marked by a connection to the divine and a sense of righteousness. Abel's existence is straightforward. He is the product of a lawful union blessed by the Creator. On the other side, we have Cain, whose origins are shrouded in darkness and controversy according to ancient texts and mystical traditions. Cain's father is not Adam but Lucifer. This forbidden union between Eve and the fallen angel results in a child born with a dual nature, part human, part demonic. Cain's very existence is a living testament to this cosmic breach. Kabbalistic and Gnostic writings provide us with fascinating insights into this duality. These texts suggest that Eve's encounter with Lucifer was not just a simple seduction, but a profound spiritual event. Through this union, Eve gains forbidden knowledge and gives birth to a son who embodies the conflict between good and evil. Think about it. Two brothers born at the same time, sharing the same mother, but with fathers who are diametrically opposed in nature. This sets the stage for an inevitable clash. Cain, carrying the mark of his father Lucifer, struggles with a darkness that drives him to jealousy and rage. Abel, embodying purity and divine favor, becomes the innocent victim of his brothers in turmoil. This dual paternity theory isn't just a wild speculation. It's supported by various ancient texts and interpretations that have been passed down through the ages. In some Gnostic traditions, this idea of dual parenthood is used to explain the profound differences between Cain and Abel. It's not just a story of sibling rivalry, it's a cosmic battle between the forces of light and darkness played out in the earliest chapters of human history, all right? Let's get right into one of the most intriguing and controversial aspects of Cain's story: the curse placed upon him after he murders his brother Abel. We're going to delve into what the apocryphal texts and occult traditions have to say about this curse. So picture this: Cain, driven by jealousy and rage, commits the first murder in human history, killing his brother Abel. This act is monumental, not just because it's the first of its kind, but because of the profound consequences that follow. According to the traditional biblical narrative, God punishes Cain by cursing him to be a wanderer on the earth, marked so that no one would kill him. But there's so much more to this story when you dig into the apocryphal texts and occult traditions. These sources reveal that Cain's curse is not just about wandering aimlessly, it's a mark of his true nature and heritage. In the apocryphal texts, specifically the Book of Jubilees and other ancient writings, the curse of Cain is described in vivid detail. Cain is not only marked but also burdened with a profound sense of guilt and isolation. He is forever separated from the presence of God, a perpetual outsider wandering in a world that is now hostile to him. This mark is a visible sign of his transgression and his demonic lineage. It's a constant reminder of the forbidden union that brought him into existence. Now let's turn to the occult traditions in these mystical and esoteric teachings. The mark of Cain is seen as a symbol of great power and great burden. Cain is often depicted as a figure of immense potential, but also one cursed with a dark destiny. The mark is not just a physical sign, but a spiritual one, indicating his connection to Lucifer. This connection grants him knowledge and abilities beyond those of ordinary humans, but it also comes with a price. Eternal conflict and suffering. Occult traditions further teach that Cain's curse is intertwined with his role as a progenitor of a lineage marked by rebellion and spiritual strife. His descendants are said to inherit his mark, carrying within them the same duality of great potential and great peril. These traditions suggest that the mark of Cain is a kind of spiritual inheritance, a sign of both his extraordinary abilities and his doomed fate in some esoteric circles. The mark of Cain is even seen as a badge of honor, a symbol of defiance against divine authority. This perspective views Cain as a tragic hero, a figure who dared to challenge the established order and paid the ultimate price, his curse. Therefore, is both a punishment and a testament to his unique role in cosmic drama. These interpretations are bold, challenging, and deeply unsettling. They force us to reconsider the simplistic view of Cain as merely a villain. Instead, we see him as a complex figure marked by his origins and his actions, caught in a struggle that transcends his personal story and touches on the very nature of good and evil. All right? Let's dive into another layer of the Gnostic perspectives on Eve's encounter with the serpent and how it reshapes our understanding of Cain's origins. So Gnosticism, for those who might not know, is a collection of ancient religious ideas and systems that emerged in the early centuries of Christianity. Gnostics had some pretty controversial views, especially when it came to the story of creation and the figures involved in Gnostic texts. The serpent in the Garden of Eden isn't merely a deceiver instead it's often seen as a liberator, a bringer of knowledge. Here's where it gets wild. Gnostic teachings propose that the serpent is a representation of the Demage, a lesser god who created the material world. This Demage is often portrayed as an arrogant and flawed entity who traps human souls in the material world. The serpent, however, is a manifestation of a higher, more benevolent power that seeks to enlighten humanity and free them from the demote control. Now let's bring into the picture, according to Gnostic texts like the Apocryphon of John and the Hypostasis of the Archons, Eve's encounter with the serpent is not an act of disobedience, but a moment of awakening. The serpent offers Eve the fruit of knowledge, and by accepting it, Eve gains an understanding of the divine truths that the Damage tried to keep hidden. But here's the kicker: a knowledge isn't just intellectual, it's also deeply spiritual, and yes, even sexual. The Gnostics suggest that Eve's interaction but the serpent was a profound spiritual union, one that imparted her with divine wisdom and power. This union is seen as an essential act of rebellion against the oppressive rule of the Damage, marking the beginning of a spiritual awakening for humanity. And where does Cain fit into all of this according to these Gnostic interpretations? Cain is the progeny of this enlightened union. He is not just a physical offspring, but a spiritual being embodying the wisdom and power of the higher realms. This perspective transforms Cain from a mere biblical villain into a complex figure. Caught in the cosmic struggle between light and darkness, the Gnostics believed that Cain's role was misunderstood and that his actions were driven by a deeper, more spiritual conflict. His murder of Abel, they suggest, wasn't just a simple act of jealousy, but a manifestation of the eternal struggle between the forces of enlightenment and the forces of ignorance and control represented by Abel. This view is supported by various Gnostic texts that paint as a bearer of secret knowledge, a figure whose very existence challenges the status quo. The mark of Cain in this light is not just a curse, but also a symbol of his unique role in the cosmic order. It's a sign of his spiritual lineage and his connection to the higher truths that the Gnostics revered in Kabbalistic thought. Every action and event in the Torah has a deeper hidden meaning. Cain's birth is seen as a result of a profound spiritual event. According to these mystical teachings, Eve's encounter with the serpent wasn't just a physical temptation, it was a metaphysical union. The serpent, representing the darker aspects of the divine, imparted a spark of forbidden knowledge to Eve, resulting in the birth of Cain. This spark is both a blessing and a curse, imbuing Cain with extraordinary potential, but also binding him to a dark destiny. Kabbalistic texts such as the Zohar delve into this dual nature of Cain. They suggest that Cain embodies the tension between the divine and the demonic, the sacred and the profane. He is a figure of immense spiritual complexity, marked by his unique origin. The Zohar explains that Cain's soul is derived from a higher spiritual realm, but is tainted by the impurity of his conception. This duality is symbolized by the mark placed upon Cain. According to Kabbalistic interpretation, this mark is not just a physical sign, but a metaphysical symbol of his role in the cosmic order. It signifies his connection to both the highest and lowest aspects of the divine. The mark is a constant reminder of his potential for greatness and his inherent struggle with his darker nature. Furthermore, Kabbalistic teachings often explore the idea of Tian, or spiritual repair. Cain's life and actions are seen as part of a larger divine plan for rectification and balance. His existence is necessary to address the imbalance created by the original sin and the subsequent fall of humanity. In this view, Cain's journey is one of seeking redemption, struggling to overcome his inherent darkness and fulfill his potential potential for spiritual enlightenment. One of the most intriguing aspects of Kabbalistic interpretation is the idea that Cain's descendants inherit his spiritual struggle. They carry within them the same potential for both greatness and downfall. This lineage is seen as crucial in the ongoing cosmic drama, playing a pivotal role in the ultimate redemption of humanity. The Zohar even suggests that some of the greatest sages and mystics in history are descendants of Cain, working to transform his cursed legacy into a source of divine light. All right, let's wrap up our exploration with a deep dive into the occult revelations about the hidden history of Lucifer and Eve. This isn't just another biblical story. This is about uncovering secrets that have been kept from us for centuries. We're talking forbidden knowledge, hidden histories, and bold truths that challenge everything we thought we knew. So let's get right into it. Occult traditions have a lot to say about the relationship between Lucifer and Eve, and it's nothing short of mind-blowing. These teachings go beyond the surface-level interpretations and delve into the profound spiritual and metaphysical implications of their union according to various occult texts. The encounter between Lucifer and Eve in the Garden of Eden was far more than just a simple act of temptation. It was an intimate and transformative event. Lucifer, often depicted as a fallen angel and the bringer of light, approached Eve not just to deceive her, but to initiate her into deeper hidden knowledge. This act was seen as a cosmic rebellion against the divine order established by the Creator. In many occult traditions, Lucifer is viewed as a Promethean figure, a bringer of enlightenment who defies the oppressive rule of a tyrannical god. His union with Eve is seen as a deliberate act to awaken humanity from its imposed ignorance by sharing his knowledge and power with Eve. Lucifer aimed to elevate human consciousness and free humanity from the constraint of the material world. This forbidden union resulted in the birth of Cain, who is often described in these texts as a being of great potential and significant spiritual power. Cain's lineage, according to occult beliefs, carries the duality of his origins, both divine and demonic. This duality is seen as essential for the ongoing struggle between light and darkness, a theme that resonates throughout many esoteric traditions. One of the most compelling aspects of these occult teachings is the idea that Lucifer's actions were not purely malevolent. Instead, they are portrayed as a necessary step in the evolution of human consciousness. By defying the Creator and imparting knowledge to Eve, Lucifer set in motion a series of events that would ultimately lead to the possibility of human enlightenment and spiritual growth. Occult traditions often emphasize that this hidden history has been suppressed, erased, and demonized by mainstream religious teachings. The true nature of Lucifer and Eve's relationship is said to be one of mutual respect and shared purpose, aimed at liberating humanity from ignorance and spiritual stagnation. These teachings challenge us to reconsider the nature of good and evil, suggesting that the true path to enlightenment involves embracing the complexities and dualities of existence. It's a bold and daring perspective that redefines the roles of the key figures in the Garden of Eden and invites us to look beyond the conventional narratives. So there you have it, a glimpse into the hidden history of Lucifer and Eve. According to occult traditions, this story isn't just about defiance and rebellion, it's about the profound and often controversial journey towards spiritual enlightenment and liberation. It's a narrative that invites us to question, explore, and ultimately seek the deeper truths that lie beneath the surface. Thank you so much for watching till the end. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the hidden secrets of our ancient past, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Your support means the world to me, and it helps us continue to explore these fascinating topics. God bless us all, and see you in the next video.